very good morning and welcome to Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. In the next 30 minutes, I'll be taking you through the day's biggest news stories from India and across the world, starting with the headlines. Army destroys several Pakistani posts across the line of control, days after beheading of its 2 soldiers. Defence Minister says action needed to ensure peace in Jammu and Kashmir. Centre's warning to NGOs asks them to file returns by 14th of June or face license cancellation. Election Commission invites 7 national and 49 state parties to EVM challenge from 3rd of June. Each party to be given 4 years and 4 hours to hack the machine. UK raises a terrorism threat level to critical. Army deployed after Manchester Arena attack. Islamic State claims responsibility. 22-year-old Salman Abedi identified as the attacker. And the Philippines president declares a martial law on southern island of Mindanao. Step after clashes between army and militants linked to Islamic State. The Indian Army has revealed that it decimated a Pakistani army post in the Nowshera sector of Jammu and Kashmir as part of punitive fire assaults days after 2 of its soldiers were beheaded. The army also released a 22-second video of the military action on Pakistani positions across the line of control. The army said that these posts were supporting infiltrations from across the line of control. Now, the video showed what looked like a forested area being bombed. However, there was no mention of the time and a date of the strike. The Pakistani army has dismissed the claims. Also, a Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist is believed to have been killed in the action. Now, Defence Minister Arun Jaitley lauded the army's action. In a series of tweets, he said, "The government supports the actions of Indian Army across the line of control. Such actions are needed to ensure peace in Jammu and Kashmir."
As part of our counter-terrorism strategy and to ensure that infiltration is curbed, an initiative remains with us. Indian Army proactively dominates line of control. While doing so, locations aiding infiltration of terrorists are being targeted and destroyed to deny advantage to terrorists, thus curbing infiltration attempts.
तो हमारे लिए गौरवमय बात है। भारतीय सेना विश्व की सर्वश्रेष्ठ सेनाओं में से एक है। हम सेना के सदा ऋणी रहेंगे और जिस प्रकार इस मेजर ने अपनी सूझबूझ, अपनी प्रतिबद्धता, अपनी योग्यता का परिचय दिया है, वो सम्मान योग था और पूरे राष्ट्र ने अपना ऋण और अपना गौरव उसके प्रति जाहिर करने का काम किया।
Infiltration increases from Pakistan as Indian Army has admitted. What is our government doing? Our army is making supreme sacrifices. They are acting with valor. But where is Modi government? There are terrorist camps in Pakistan, occupied Kashmir. Terrorists are being pushed every day. Where is the international pressure?
पूरा देश और विश्व आतंकवादी घटनाओं के खिलाफ भारत के साथ खड़ा है। इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट में भी भारत को एक जीत हासिल हुई है और पाकिस्तान कहीं ना कहीं अपने आप में अलग थलग खड़ा है। अपनी सीमाओं की सुरक्षा करने के लिए हमारे सैनिकों का आत्मबल आज ऊंचाइयों पर है और आज हम ऐसी किसी भी घटना का जवाब देने के लिए सक्षम हैं।
And in another incident in Kashmir, an encounter broke out between security forces and militants in Hakripura area of Pulwama district in South Kashmir. Now, acting on a tip-off about the presence of militants in the area, security forces launched a cordon and search operation. The militants opened fire during the operation, prompting retaliation from the forces, which triggered the gun battle. The encounter is still on as the gunshots were heard from a cordon there. Now, 2 to 3 terrorists are believed trapped in the cordon. Well, we'll continue tracking all those developments from Kashmir. Meanwhile, to some other news now, the National Investigation Agency, or the NIA, questioned Hurriyat leader Naeem Khan. Now, this is in connection with the tapes in which he was purportedly seen confessing to receiving money from Pakistan-based terror groups. Now, PTI is quoting sources as saying that the Khan has also been asked to submit some documents related to the case. The agency questioned Kashmiri separatists on the fourth consecutive day on Tuesday in connection with its probe into the role of LET chief Hafiz Saeed and hardline Hurriyat leader Saeed Ali Shah Gilani in the subversive activities in Jammu and Kashmir. The alleged funding received by the separatist leaders for fueling unrest and promoting stone pelting in the valley is also under the scanner of the central agency. Now, Pakistan has reportedly asked the International Court of Justice, or the ICJ, for an early hearing in Indian national Kulbhushan Jadhav case. According to a report by Express Tribune, Pakistani Foreign Office has written to the ICJ's registrar expressing the desire for a quick hearing, preferably over the next few weeks. The report said that the request was made in view of the upcoming elections for ICJ judges. Now, the Pakistani request comes just days after the ICJ stayed Jadhav's execution and endorsed the Indian request for consular access to him. Pakistan had last Friday filed a plea in the ICJ to rehear within 6 weeks Jadhav's case. On 8th of May, India had moved the ICJ against the death penalty handed down to Jadhav by a Pakistani military court. News from Chhattisgarh now. The CRPF has suspended its commander who led the team which came under attack by Naxalites in Sukma district on 24th of April. 25 personnel were killed in the attack. Now, the company commander, Assistant Commandant J. Vishwanath, has been suspended for alleged failure of leadership. The commanding officer of the 74th Battalion, Commandant Firoz Kumar, has been shifted out of Chhattisgarh. The 25 slain men belong to the Delta Company of the 74th Central Reserve Police Force and were deployed in the Naxal hotbed between Bukrapal and Sintagufa in Sukma district. The force has also transferred at least half a dozen commandants and a deputy inspector general posted in the Bastar region and has replaced them with some of its best officers serving in other parts of the country. Now, PTI is quoting top CRPF officials as saying that the suspension of the assistant commander was ordered following the receipt of a preliminary inquiry about shortcomings that might have led to the massacre. Our other top story, the government on Tuesday warned the NGOs that their registration under the Foreign Contribution Registration Act will be scrapped if they fail to submit their annual income and expenditure records by 14th of June. The Home Ministry said in a circular that a large number of NGOs registered under the FCRA are yet to submit their annual returns for 5 years, despite being given a final opportunity to do so. The ministry had given 30 days to such NGOs for uploading their missing annual returns along with the requisite documents. It also said that no compounding fee would be imposed for late filing of returns during this period, and this exemption was a one-time measure. As per the rules, the renewal of registration under the FCRA cannot be granted unless the annual returns are uploaded to the FCRA website by the organization. The government is estimated to have cancelled licenses of nearly 7,500 NGOs in the last 3 years after they failed to disclose their income as well as expenditure statements. The government scheme, however, does not apply to the NGOs like Greenpeace, Islamic Research Foundation and 1,300 others whose registrations have already been cancelled for allegedly violating various provisions of the FCRA. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday pitched for an Asia-Africa growth corridor for development of Africa. He claimed that the initiative would be supported by Japan and India. He also claimed that since coming to power in 2014, his government has made Africa their top priority. Here are more details from the African Development Bank conclave.
Inaugurating the 52nd annual general meeting of the African Development Bank in Gandhinagar, Prime Minister Narendra Modi pitched for the Asia-Africa Growth Corridor for the development of Africa, which will be supported by Japan and India. The pitch comes close on the heels of China launching its ambitious One Belt, One Road initiative, which aims to connect the Eurasian landmass and the Indo-Pacific maritime routes.
India is also working with United States and Japan to support development in Africa. I gladly recall during my visit to Tokyo, Japan, we discussed our commitment for enhancing growth prospects for all. In our joint declaration, we mentioned an Asia-Africa growth corridor and propose further conversations with our brothers and sisters from Africa.
Recalling the centuries-old association of India with Africa, especially between trading communities in Gujarat, Modi said that trade between both countries has multiplied in the last 15 years and reached close to $72 billion in 2014-15.
In 2014, I have made Africa a top priority for India's foreign and economic policy. India is proud of its educational and technical ties with Africa. India's commodity trade with Africa in 2015-16 was higher than our commodity trade with the United States of America.
Listing the government's achievements ahead of the third anniversary of coming to power, Prime Minister Modi said that India has improved upon all macroeconomic indicators over the last 3 years. He also said that India would be honored to share some of the strategies adopted with Africa.
In the last 3 years, improved on all macroeconomic indicators. The fiscal deficit, balance of payments deficit, and inflation are down. The GDP growth rate, foreign exchange reserves, and public capital investments are up.
The Prime Minister informed the gathering of close to 3,000 African delegates that India is the 5th largest investor in Africa and has invested $54 billion in the last 20 years. He also assured of India's continued support in achieving growth in areas like agriculture, infrastructure, power and industry. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now an update on the EVM hackathon. Well, amid rising issue on the credibility of the electronic voting machines, the Election Commission has invited all the 7 national and 49 state parties to participate in the challenge to prove that EVMs can be hacked. The poll panel has sent letters to all the 7 national parties, the BJP, BSP, Congress, CPI, CPIM, NCP and the TMC, and 49 state parties, including Delhi's Aam Aadmi Party. The Election Commission has also invited both the factions of the AIA-DMK for the challenge, but the Commission has left out smaller, registered, unrecognized parties and independent candidates who contested the recent polls. The Election Commission will give each party 4 EVMs of their choice from the 5 states and 4 hours to hack. Each team can have a maximum of 3 persons, but foreign experts have been barred from participating. The challenge begins on 3rd of June. And now look at the events that are lined up for the day in the day ahead. The Union Cabinet in a meeting today is likely to take a call on winding up of the 25-year-old Foreign Investment Promotion Board. It currently vets FDI proposals requiring the government approval. Several experts have opined in the past that the need to get FIPB approval often leads to delays in foreign investments coming in. The municipal corporation elections to the 3 civic bodies in Mumbai will take place today. 1,251 candidates are in the fray in Bhiwandi, Malegaon and Panvel. This will be the first election of the Panvel City Municipal Corporation after it came into existence in October last year. There are 12.96 lakh eligible voters for 252 seats in poll to 3 civic bodies. Results will be declared on 26th of May. A special CBI court in Lucknow will today hear the 1992 Babri Masjid demolition case. The court from 20th of May had began day-to-day hearing in the case. It also granted bail to the 5 VHP leaders named as accused in it. Supreme Court had last month directed the special court to start proceedings in the matter within a month and deliver its verdict within 2 years. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister K. Palanisamy will meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the national capital today. They are expected to discuss several issues, including the political situation in the state. Palanisamy's visit comes days after the leader of the ruling AIADMK's Amma faction, O. Selvam, had called on Prime Minister in Delhi last week. Big story coming in from Madhya Pradesh, where at least 21 pilgrims from the state were killed when their bus fell into Bhagirathi River near Nalupani on Tuesday. They were returning from Gangotri Shrine in the Himalayas. Now, the mishap occurred at around 6 p.m. as the bus fell 300 meters down the road into the river. 20 bodies have so far been recovered from the spot, and one of the 7 injured died at the hospital later. Rescue efforts by the SDRF, the ITBP and police personnel under the supervision of senior officials continued through the night. There were around 29 pilgrims, mostly from Indore, in the bus at the time of the accident. On Char Dham Yatra since 12th of May, these pilgrims had already visited Yamunotri and Gangotri and were on their way to Haridwar, from where they had to go to Kedarnath. Now, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has announced a gratia of 2 lakh rupees each to the next of the kin of the deceased. And in breakfast news, time for a very short break. Up next, we have all the international and sports news, including an update on the Manchester attack. Stay with us.
People from your party are going and joining BJP. What is stopping the party from arresting this kind of a trend?
It's not as if the whole party has gone to them.
Ramchand Guha, after UP elections or a little later, had said that Rahul Gandhi is almost like a serial failure.
I don't think you can put the blame of the recent failures of the Congress party at the doorstep of an individual.
Will be the credible alternative for Modi.
Time will tell. There's nothing called a vacuum in politics.
Watch To The Point with senior Congress leader and Rajya Sabha MP Kapil Sibal only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Now, a retired Inspector General of the CRPF was denied entry into Canada on Tuesday, with the airport authorities at Vancouver saying that the paramilitary force in which he worked had committed human rights violations. Now, Tejinder Singh Dhillon had landed in Canada with his wife on 18th of May and was put on the return flight to India on 20th of May after being declared inadmissible under Canada's Immigration and Refugee Protection Act. His wife was, however, allowed to proceed to her destination in Canada. India voiced its protest and said that it had taken up the matter with the Canadian government and that the characterization of a reputed force like the CRPF is completely unacceptable. Later, in a statement aimed at pacifying the Indian side, the Canadian High Commissioner to India, Nadir Patel, said, and I quote, "In this case, the language in the document does not reflect the Government of Canada's policy towards India or any particular organization, including the Central Reserve Police Force of India. The Central Reserve Police Force plays an important role in upholding law and order in India," unquote. And let's get you some more news from across the country in Nationwide. A Swachh Bharat app was launched on Tuesday and it will soon be rolled out for the 116 Archaeological Survey of India monuments across the country. With the help of the app, visitors would be able to report garbage on the premises. Cultural Minister Mahesh Sharma launched the app that is available for Android mobile phones and can be downloaded from the Google Play Store. 6 Tamil Nadu fishermen were arrested by the Sri Lankan Navy for allegedly fishing near Nedutivo in the island nation. The fishermen have been taken to the Kangisan-Thurai port. The National Human Rights Commission has issued a notice to the Jharkhand government over the alleged abduction and recruitment of children by Maoists in the state. The commission took note of a media report and has sought a report from the state government over the matter within 2 weeks. A 25-year-old man hailing from Uttar Pradesh was arrested for allegedly trying to enter the Kudankulam nuclear power plant. Narendra Kumar from Lakshmimpur was picked up by the Central Industrial Security Forces personnel for allegedly trying to enter the plant. And now an update on the Manchester attack. Well, the UK has raised its terrorism threat level to critical, the highest level for the first time in a decade on Tuesday. Now, Prime Minister Theresa May says that the critical level of threat means further attacks may be imminent. Military personnel have been deployed to protect key sites. The move comes after investigators were unable to rule out whether Manchester bombing suspect Salman Abedi acted alone. 22 people were killed and 50 others were injured when a suicide bomber attacked Manchester Arena on Monday evening as the teenagers poured out of pop singer Ariana Grande's concert. A 22-year-old suspected suicide attacker Salman Abedi is reported to be of Libyan descent, born and raised in the UK. Islamic State claimed responsibility for the attack but offered no evidence. Now, the critical threat level means that apart from any key public location, military personnel may also be seen at other events over the coming weeks, such as concerts, working under the command of police officers.
The first thing they're going to do is free up officers who are on static guarding duties at key locations. We can put those on the streets protecting the public with the military guarding those fixed locations. The second thing is potentially augment our patrols. As you say, potentially transport hubs and key events. There are so many big events across the country over the next couple of weeks.
The police and security services needed to investigate whether or not Abedi was acting alone. Those investigations continue. But the work undertaken throughout the day has revealed that it is a possibility we cannot ignore, that there is a wider group of individuals linked to this attack.
Meanwhile, several people are still missing, while many are undergoing treatment at 8 hospitals across Manchester. Following the attack, pop star Grande, who was scheduled to perform in London and across Europe through mid-June, suspended her tour. Now, Queen Elizabeth II described the bombing as act of barbarity. US President Donald Trump termed the attackers as losers. The blast marked the deadliest attack on British soil since the 2015 London bombings. Hundreds of residents remembered the victims during a Tuesday evening vigil. The Eiffel Tower in Paris was blacked out at midnight on Tuesday in honor of the victims. US President Donald Trump on Tuesday used his centerpiece Holy Land speech to reaffirm commitment to peace between Israelis and Palestinians. He, however, offered no new details on how to achieve that goal. Now, rounding out a 28-hour stay in Jerusalem, Trump praised Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, saying that both were ready for peace. Israel and the Palestinians have not held peace talks for the last 3 years, and Trump has acknowledged that it would be one of the toughest deals of all to broker. On Monday, the US President had said that he had come to reaffirm the unbreakable bond between the US and Israel, and that there was a rare opportunity to bring security and stability and peace in the region. Meanwhile, anti-Trump protests were held in Rome on Tuesday when he reached Italy. He will today meet Pope Francis at the Vatican.
As I have repeatedly said, I'm personally committed to helping Israelis and Palestinians achieve a peace agreement. And I had a meeting this morning with President Abbas and can tell you that the Palestinians are ready to reach for peace. In my meeting with my very good friend, Benjamin, I can tell you also that he is reaching for peace. He wants peace.
Big story coming in from the Philippines, where President Rodrigo Duterte has declared martial law on the southern island of Mindanao after clashes between the army and militants linked to the Islamic State there. Now, martial law has been declared for 60 days and will allow the use of the military to enforce law and detention of people without charge for long periods. The violence in the Marawi city in Mindanao erupted on Tuesday as the army searched for the leader of a militant group that had pledged allegiance to Islamic State. The violence left 3 members of the security forces dead. Now, Mindanao is home to a number of Muslim rebel groups who are seeking more autonomy. Duterte made the announcement during a visit to Russia, which he was forced to cut short. During his talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, Duterte also said that the Philippines needed more modern weapons to fight Islamic State militants and other militant groups as well.
Something happened in Mindanao. ISIS occupied a province and there is still fighting going on. I have to go home because I should be there at this time. It's an urgent matter that the people should be there at this time.
The President has called me and asked me to announce that as of 10 p.m. Manila time, he has already declared martial law for the entire island of Mindanao. As Des Guevara has clarified that this is possible on the grounds of existence of rebellion because of what is happening in Mindanao.
The presence of the President, the physical presence is needed in the Philippines. That is the President's assessment. And his priority is always the protection of each and every Filipino. He will act within the framework of the Constitution. We will follow all rules and regulations.
Meanwhile, after Tuesday's Manchester attack, now the Board of Control for Cricket India, or the BCCI, has raised concerns with the ICC about the Indian team's security in England, which is set to host the ICC Champions Trophy in a matter of few days. The BCCI has sent a letter to the ICC after the Manchester attack. The BCCI also called an emergency meeting where the complete tour schedule of India, including practice sessions, was reviewed. The ICC was quick to respond and stressed that there was no change in India's plans. While expressing grief over the horrific incident, the International Cricket Body assured that security will be the main concern and that they will review all the security arrangements made for the sporting event. The ICC Champions Trophy commences on 1st of June and India's first game is on 4th of June against arch rivals Pakistan. The 15-member squad is set to depart for England today. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, India pulled off a dominating show to stun former champions Indonesia 4-1 in the Sudirman Cup, a mixed team badminton championships at the Gold Coast in Australia. India beat Indonesia to keep the quarterfinals hopes alive in tournament with singles and doubles teams wins. The mixed doubles team, including Ashwini Ponnappa and Raniki Reddy, won their first match. India rode on the stupendous performances by K. Srikanth, PV Sindhu and the experienced Ashwini Ponnappa, who won both the mixed doubles and the women's doubles match. Now, both Denmark and India now have won one match each, and the knockout berths will be decided after today's clash between Indonesia and Denmark. India will now count on Denmark to defeat Indonesia in their last group match to reach the quarterfinals. An acting legend, Sir Roger Moore, star of 7 James Bond films, died at 89 in Switzerland on Tuesday. And a statement from his family said that Moore passed away after a short but a brave battle with cancer. Before being cast as a secret agent, Sir Roger Moore's big breakthrough as an actor came in 1962, where he won the part of the Saint in a popular television series of the same name. Now, Sir Roger Moore returned to television work after his Bond films. Sir Roger was also a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador in 1991. Stars of the film, television and music have paid a tribute to Sir Roger Moore. We'll leave you with the glimpses from some of his best movies. Thanks for watching.
I'm Roger Moore. Who? Roger Moore.
Can I help you?
Yes, my name is Bond. James Bond. I'm looking for Dr. Goodhead.
You just found her.
Basically was the funny James Bond. I remember a lot of people thought Sean Connery, who could fill his shoes, and Roger Moore just slipped in, and it was like James Bond was reborn.
very, very grateful I managed to make 7 of those, which I suppose 7 is my lucky number. And sadly, I had to retire from Bond because the girls were all getting too young.